Alright guys, today we have a 1995 Eagle Talon. This car has a jammed up wheel. This wheel doesn't want to move. See, if I try to turn it, it doesn't move. And the reason is because the caliper in there is jammed up. So if you have a vehicle that needs a caliper replaced, it's the same procedure for all of them. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this tire. If you have something like this right here, let me show you closer. That's a wheel lock, so you need a key such as this one. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this tire, and after that we're gonna get some tools and we're gonna start taking apart the caliper. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this wheel lock right here. You always gotta position the key. Gotta find the proper spot. This is one of the harder keys to line. You know how many turns you can do before you get this damn thing in there. Alright, let me figure out that slot for this. There you go. So you see, that's a key. That's a wheel lock right there. This is the key for it, and this is the lock. Sometimes these tires are jammed up, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit it from the back. Closer. So you take something and you hit it from the back, and this wheel should come off. So we have the caliper here. This is what we're going to be working on. Let me bring my camera down a little bit. So this is what we're looking at, and this is what we're working on. Alright, to remove this caliper, what we have to do is we have to remove this line. Of course, it's gonna start leaking out fluid. A lot of people like to put vice grip here, but I don't like to do that. What I like to do is I like to loosen this bolt up a little bit and take this caliper and just leave it here till I get the new one. And once I have the new one, what I do is I just simply take off this and put it right into the new one. You always want to put some bucket in the bottom because even a little bit fluid will leak out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the bolt here and bolt here, and this is gonna take out the caliper. And then after that, there's two more bolts that's gonna be for the bracket, and then we're gonna wait for the new caliper. Alright, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take this out and take this bolt out, and we're gonna put the caliper away. And this is number 17. This is an Eagle Talon. So if you have a Honda, it might be a different size. If you have a Toyota, it might be a 14. Usually Toyotas are 14. Hondas are usually, like a Pilot will also be a 17. If it's a Accord, it might be 12 or 14 millimeter. So it's the same procedure. Some of them are Allen keys, some of them are Torx. Alright, so what we do is take that, and we take that. So this comes out, and then we can take a pry bar, flathead screwdriver. I can feel this caliper doesn't want to come out. It's holding on to those brakes so tight. It's gonna have to come out. pushed that piston back a little bit, but it's super rough. It's not supposed to be like that. So I am gonna just let this sit back there somewhere, and what we'll do is, you see, it's moving already. We can move the caliper, because what that caliper was doing was it was grabbing this. It was not letting that go. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna reuse these brakes, because we only use changing the caliper. It's probably gonna come with these new little hardware kits here. Next, you have 2 more bolts back here. So I am gonna take out this one right here. You're gonna put this somewhere safe, because the new caliper is not gonna come with it. And then we have the bracket out. And also we're gonna keep this somewhere safe. These has little washers on it, the thrust washer, so make sure you put those back, because if you don't, it might go too far and hit the rotor. Alright, so we're gonna stop here, and then we're gonna wait till we get a new caliper, and that's when we're gonna take out this number 14 here. This has 2 little washers in there. Those are like the sealers to stop it from leaking, so you do want to make sure you put those in there. There's 2 of them in there, one in the back of the bolt, one in the front, and I'll show you that once I have a new caliper. So let's wait. Okay. Alright, so we have the new caliper. This is a new caliper. It comes with the bracket, the 2 bolts for the bracket go here. And this car, whenever you're installing a caliper, say the caliper goes on like that, make sure this bleeder valve is always on the top end. If it's in the bottom, you're never going to be able to bleed the system. The pedal's going to be spongy. The reason is because the air bubbles always travel up. So let's say, for instance, if you had a caliper with the bleeder valve down, the air will stay up. It will never bleed down. So you can bleed all you want, but it will not bleed the air out from the bottom. So it always has to be up. So if you're on the opposite side, the bleeder has to be on the top. In the back, same thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna install this. This comes with a new hardware kit. Only thing it didn't come with is the little washer that goes here. I guess somebody already somebody must have received this caliper, because it looked like it has signs. Somebody did try to use this caliper, but that's fine with me as long as everything works. And I'll reuse the old seals that goes here, and let me have everything ready and we'll install this. Alright, so first thing what I'm going to do is, just like this, I am going to put this caliper on, and I am going to put the 2 bolts for the bracket in the back. So that's going to hold the bracket in place for me, and the caliper is going to be held in place also with those bolts. And this one in the bottom, there's 2 of them in the back. Just reverse the procedure. What we'll do is we'll tighten both of these. Alright, so we have this tight. What I'm going to do next is I am going to take out 1 bolt in the bottom, because we can slide the pin in and put the caliper down later on. So I am removing that one. This is already greased up, so we don't need to put grease on these. So what we do is you can remove that caliper. You can put it to the side so you don't hurt yourself, it doesn't fall on you. Next, we take these this hardware kit. We installed that. And the one in the top. A lot of people like to do this outside so they can see better. You see how I'm having difficulty? I think that somebody used this caliper before. You see it's a little bent there, so I'm gonna just straighten that out. I'm gonna do it with a needle nose. Alright, so I straightened that out. So, you know, somebody had this caliper before to another store and they must have returned it. Alright, there you go. Now we have this machine. You always want to make sure this is not hitting anywhere on the rotor, because if it does hit the shim, it's going to make a squealing noise. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to put the brake pads in. These are all the brake pads, so the customer said he'll do the brakes down the road. Because we did other work on this car, the bill is very high on this car. So the brake pads are in. This is tight, this is tight. Next, we're gonna put this caliper back in. And we're gonna bring the caliper down. We're gonna take that bottom caliper bolt, that's a sliding pin bolt, together. We'll gently tap that. Alright, I'm gonna make sure the top one is tight. Even though we didn't take it out, it was loose. Alright, so you see that? It can move in there. So once we have this tire, it's gonna be free. And I don't hear anything touching in there, so it should be nice and smooth. Now, you always want to put something in the bottom. What I am going to do is, I'm going to put the camera up a little bit. I am going to take off that bolt. And quickly, I'm going to make sure my washers are in there. I am going to take that bolt and put it back at this where it belongs. Right, so that's a number 14 on this car. Some cars use 12, 13, whatever the number is, you remove that. Sometimes it doesn't want to come out because you already have it. It's more easier when it's in there, you can loosen it up. Alright, what I'll do is I get a 14 with the impact gun. I'll tap it softly, you know, because I'm not going to be able to hold it and remove it. So I'll tap this softly. I have it on unwind. Ah man, I'm just scared. I don't want to just yank it and the fluid's all over. There you guys, loose. Alright. Loose. There's a fluid coming out. I tighten it back up a little bit. What I'm going to do is I got my container down here. I am going to grab a rag or something. So I have my little rag here, down here. Now I can take this out and let the liquid leaks, but it's not gonna leak. A lot of people, they just let it hang there and all the fluid comes down on the floor. Alright, so this is coming out. That's liquid coming out of the caliper. Alright, so I have that out. Put that away. I have my both of my washers on. Good. Alright, one of my washers fell. So I got my washer there. Now I am going to take this bolt and put it back in there. Make sure you catch the threads by hand first, and then you can just tighten it up. You want to make sure this is nice and tight. You also want to check for leakages in this. So the way to do that is, what you do is you go inside the car, you pump the brake as hard as you can and just check for leaks. But as long as you have your seals in there, it should not leak. Alright, so once you're done installing everything, just double check everything, make sure this line is not twisted. And at the end, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bleed this. I have my number 8 here. We do have to blade the system, so we take out this rubber cover here. And I am using a mighty rack. So if you have a tool such as mighty rack, you can use that. What we do here is I am going to use this vacuum suction to bleed out the air from the system. So the system is very simple. What I do is I don't have a long enough cable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a help, and I'm going to bleed this system. And let me get help. Can you help me for a second? Yeah. Alright, so he's coming. My friend is coming. So he's gonna put the vacuum pump on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the air from here. I'm going to release the valve. So it's a simple procedure. Go ahead. Take it out. And that's it. I'll suck up all the air bubbles in there. No, stop. Alright, that's it. The system is bled. And then you want to lock up the valve. And that's it, we're done. When you're done, make sure you put on this cover, the cap. And then after this, you can check it by pumping the pressure. See if there's any leakage. If there's no leakage, you're good. And that's it. That's how you change the cap.